Okay, good evening. I am Pradeep Khetan, Director of ISM-INDIA for Western region. Today we will discuss about inventory management. Okay, the learning objective is very simple. We will try to understand what is inventory, and then as most of the people they are saying inventory is the asset. So why then top management is interested in inventory? Then who is responsible for creating the inventory in the organization? Different type of inventory created in different manufacturing environments. Then we will talk about what is really inventory management, tools and techniques for that. Then we will also cover the technique for inventory control system and the accounting of inventory. Okay. The first and most important question is what is inventory? A lot of people they are talking about the inventory in different ways. In particularly manufacturing organization, we are talking about the inventory as a raw material, WIP, finished goods, repairs and spares, and MRO. Now, raw material means the material which we are purchasing from the suppliers, and then we are working on the material to transform in some particular useful form. Then it is called as a raw material. In raw material, we are also considering the component part. Like take example in automobile industry, some companies they are manufacturing the engine, and some companies they are purchasing engine directly from the suppliers. So when they are purchasing directly from supplier, then engine is component. Okay. Then the inventory which is there in the system throughout the manufacturing system. And finished goods are like the inventory which is useful for the end customers. And repairs and spares are like after sales inventory, the inventory required for the finished goods or which is required for the finished goods. MRO is like which are required for manufacturing, considered as a part of bill of material. So take example like cotton gauge, oil, they are all the MRO items. Very important thing why we are interested in inventory is because inventory represents one of the largest portion of the capital. And that's why even the top management is also highly interested in inventory. If you see in manufacturing, the inventory is defined in this way, but in service industry, inventory is defined in some other way. In service industry, inventory is not going through the transformation process from raw material to finished goods. In service industry, mostly people they are keeping the finished inventory or after sales inventory. Okay, now one basic difference is earlier we used to say in service industry is the 100% where no product is involved, and product industry is something where no service is involved. But now slowly we are coming in the era where service and products both are facilitate each other. Another example in you can talk about you go in cinema. The tickets are at the you are purchasing the ticket at the rate of 300 rupees per ticket. Now the 300 rupees you are paying is for just to see the cinema or for watching the cinema along with some goods. So out of 300 rupees, maybe 100 rupees is for the movie and 200 rupees is for the material which they are selling to you, like snacks they are giving along with the tickets. So just imagine in US, they say like in movie, earlier 100% cost was the service industry cost. They're like people they were paying for the movie, and nowadays approximately 70% cost is coming for sales of the product, like all the snacks which they are selling, and 30% is coming from the service or the movie which they are showing. Similar is the scenario in the product industry also. For if suppose you are purchasing the car, then for servicing of the car, again you are giving approximately 30% of your amount. So 70% cost is going for the sale of the product and 30% cost is going for the service. Okay. Now, why top management is highly interested in inventory? Even though like inventory is current asset in our balance sheet, but when you are purchasing the raw material, you are booking the raw material under the heading of expenses. When you are converting raw material into WIP and then from WIP to finished products, again you are booking your expenses. Like take example, labor expenses, you are adding some material to make the raw material into some other form. All these materials, direct labors, factory overhead, you are booking as the expenses, and these expenses are offsetting against the revenue of the organization. Even the sales of the finished product is also an expense, because you are selling the product generally on not on cash basis but on site basis, and then you are doing the follow-up with your customer for getting the payment. So generally, like what we say, raw material WIP finished products, they are showing cash outflow. Even the sales of finished product and account receivable is also a cash outflow. Only account receivable paid is considered as a cash inflow. Now, as you know, like cash flow is very important for any organization to run the business. So if suppose my cash to cash cycle is negative, then I will find my business, running the business very difficult. Now I will tell you some examples like Kingfisher. Even though like Kingfisher's business was very good, business model was very good, but suddenly he got a lot of issues just because of the very bad cash flow in the organization. Okay. Okay. Now, in an organization, like who is responsible for inventory? So I can say like broadly in any organization, any person or department who is creating the inventory should be the responsible for the inventory. So if suppose like I'm talking about different manufacturing environment. Sales marketing are responsible for the finished goods inventory, raw material inventory is the responsibility of purchase department, and WIP is the responsibility of manufacturing department. Okay. So if suppose a company is in the manufacturing environment of make to stock, like take example, I'm talking about Hindustan Unilever, who is making a lot of products which is make to stock type of scenario. Like take example, they're talking about soap, they're talking about washing powder. So all these products they are making on the basis of forecast, and then these products are available in their warehouse. So when these products are available on the basis of forecast, that means this company is creating more and more inventory of finished products rather than raw material and WIP. While if suppose I am talking about the manufacturing environment of make to order or build to order, like you can consider the example of airline industry. They are getting the order from not airline, this the manufacturer of aeroplane. So they are getting the order from airline industry, and then they are making the aeroplane. So even though like they have the availability of raw material in their stock, they are converting raw material into WIP and then to finished product only after getting the stock, getting the order. Sorry. Okay. So here, if a company is in the manufacturing environment of make to order or build to order, they will keep a lot of raw material inventory as compared to finished product inventory. And the company like, if we talk about any automobile industry, they are working in the environment of assemble to order. There more and more we are finding out the inventory of semi-finished products or components. So generally, like depending on the business environment, we can find out easily which particular company is keeping what type of inventory in their system. Okay. Now the main question is why we need the inventory. The basic aim of inventory is to decouple demand from supply. Okay. So suppose any where there is a demand in the market, so we cannot match this demand directly from supply. We can fulfill the demand from inventory, and at the same time we can continue the supply to build the inventory. Now, what is the reason why we are creating the inventory in our system? Basically, there is a production consumption difference. Like take example, okay, so inventory is created by the difference in production consumption system. Now, take example, we are producing the product at one place and consuming at other place. So how we will fill this gap? Only through inventory. Now, take example like Maruti is making the car in Gurgaon, and car is required to consumed by the customers in various parts of the country. So how their demand is fulfilled? Like there is by inventory. Another is like a difference in time of production and time of consumption. We are producing the vehicle at one particular time, consuming the vehicle in different time. And third is the difference in quantity. The quantity of production and quantity of consumption is also going to create inventory in the system. So basically, we are creating inventory in the system because of the dimension. One, the place; second, the time; and third is quantity. Why we are keeping the inventory in our system? Various purposes are there. Like, take example, we are keeping the inventory in anticipation of demand. Like, take example, the seasonal demand. So seasonal demand is we are creating the inventory in the system, building the inventory, and then we are consuming from the inventory during the peak season. Or to handle the fluctuation in demand and supply. For example, we are keeping the safety stock. Safety stock is we are keeping in our system just to handle fluctuation in demand and supply. Okay. And third is like we are talking about the minimum order quantity, which we are receiving from the supplier. Now, supplier can be internal supply, supplier can be external supply. So it is called as like lot size or like lot size inventory or minimum order quantity based inventory. If suppose our need is like 10 tons of steel and supplier is supplying minimum 25 tons, so 15 tons is the MOQ inventory. And then like another way, like we can talk about the transit or pipeline inventory. The inventory which is not at the supplier side, which is not at the customer side, it is in the transit period. Then it is called transit inventory or pipeline inventory. And hedge inventory is like generally we are talking in terms of like hedge inventory is very common in the commodity market. And a lot of companies they are doing the hedging. Like take example in crude oil, the rates are changing very fast. A lot of companies are hedging the inventory. So hedge inventory we can define as the inventory we are keeping in our system, and once this particular event is over, we are consuming the inventory and keeping the inventory at the normal level. Then it is called hedge inventory. Very common example is like in our housing society. If suppose somebody say like there is a shortage of water for next 3 days, what we are doing? We are hedging the water in our different utensils. And once this event is over, we are consuming the water, and again we are going back to the normal level of inventory. Okay. Now, in most of companies, like they are defining inventory in various ways, various categories. Now, one very important thing is like this category of inventory, which we are talking about, is we are just how we can define in our system. It is not like in our warehouse we can go and we can say it is excess inventory, it is surplus inventory, it is operating norm. But in our system, we can define the inventory in the same way. The operating inventory is like the inventory which is required for the regular operations. Okay, and generally we are keeping the very short in operating inventory for the expensive items. If suppose next to this operating inventory is excess inventory, so excess inventory is like it exceeds the operating inventory level. My operating inventory, suppose my requirement is 500 units per month, and if I am purchasing 700 units, then 200 units is excess inventory. And particularly for excess inventory, we have reasonable chance of being used within the planning time frames. So, like take example, I am talking about the next 15 days. So maybe operating inventory we are talking about the next 10 days, and excess inventory for the next 5 days also. The surplus inventory is very commonly we can see this surplus inventory in export-oriented business. Like example, in garment business, because of our efficiency level, if suppose we are talking about like 99% is our efficiency level, and 1% there is a quality problem. To fulfill the complete order, we need to make minimum 100 and 102% of the product. If suppose there is a requirement of 10,000 units, then I will make 11,000 units, so that in case there is some material will go against the quality, I can supply at least 10,000 units. Now, if suppose by chance my entire lot is accepted by the customer, but against 10,000 I made 11,000. 1,000 is the surplus inventory, because I not planned the 1,000 inventory for any order. It is a surplus inventory with me, and I don't know like whether it is required or not required. So surplus inventory is some possibility of being used within 12 months to 18 months. Some possibilities are there, not necessary. Okay, and then is the inactive inventory. Sometimes some inventories are there. There is a requirement of the component for particular end item, but not necessarily this end item is required now. Or maybe the end item requirement is very slow. Maybe for like next 1 or 2 years, I have not seen any requirement. So then for that, the raw material requirement is inactive. The inventory which is lying in my raw material stores is inactive inventory. Then obsolete inventory is like inventory which we are keeping in our stock for which there is no requirement at all. Then it is the obsolete inventory. Then damaged inventory is like requirement is there, but the raw material or maybe the finished products are no longer fit for its use. Then it is the damaged inventory. And scrap. Generally, when we are using this inventory pattern, mostly like people they are doing the obsolete inventory and damaged inventory, they are putting in scrap. Okay. So what is inventory management is like a very simple way. The set policies and controls that monitors level of inventory and determines what is required, what level of inventory should be maintained, when stock should be replenished, and what should be the order policy. So I have to decide first, if I have to place the order, how much order I have to place. So I have to decide about my order policy. Then if suppose my requirement of item is A class item, so how much item is required in my system. If B class items are there, then how much items are required in my systems. So my objective is like I can do the inventory management for best customer service. I can reduce my inventory investment, and my operational productivity should be higher. So generally, like when we are planning, my plan is we can start from like what is my gross requirement, whether we are talking about the end item or finished products to the customer, or whether we are talking about the raw material for my internal purpose. My first question is, what is my gross requirement? My second question is, what is available with me? And then from that, I will come to the conclusion, what is the net requirement? So net requirement we can get from the gross requirement. Gross requirement minus available balance is my net requirement. Then what quantity will needed to be ordered. So for my net requirement of, like, take example, my gross requirement is 10,000 units, available inventory is 2,000, so my net requirement is 8,000. Now for 8,000 units, what quantity you need to order? So if suppose my supplier is going to supply 8,000 units, then I will place the order of 8,000. If my supplier is supplying minimum lot size of 10,000, then I will place the order of 10,000. Okay. Then when will be the order need to be received? So now I know what is the requirement. Now I want to know when I need the quantity. And then I will see what is my lead time. And then I will offset the lead time. And then I will say when my order should be released. So my order release and my order received, the difference between these two is my lead time. Now, generally, we are asking three questions like what is required, when is required, and how much is required. Okay, so we can talk about when to place an order. There are various ordering systems are there, like order point system, periodic review system, MRP, visual review, Kanban. Different systems are there. Some systems are very good for independent demand items. Some systems are very good for dependent demand items. Please be very careful when selecting the ordering system. Don't use the system which is good for independent demand for dependent demand. Like, take example, order point system, periodic review system are very good for independent demand items, like at warehouse level. But for dependent demand items, maybe I can say like MRP can be the good system. Visual review system can also be like Kanban is very good system. So maybe like I can say MRP is one of the best system for dependent demand. Kanban in just-in-time type of scenario is very helpful for the dependent demand items. And visual review system is good for dependent and independent both. But generally, people, they are using it for C-class items. Okay, so order point system or reorder point system we are using for independent demand items, not for dependent demand. Demand is likely to be stable and continuous, then only we can use the reorder point. And generally, we are not using it for A class item, we are using it for B class or maybe for C class items. Okay. Now, one basic difference is like order point or reorder point system is not a demand driven system. It is a supply driven system. Like, take example, in our vehicle, reorder point is our reserve level. So when my reserve will come, I will just fill the fuel. Now my reserve came and I will fill the fuel. That means it is a supplier driven system, not the supplier demand driven system. I don't know like when my demand will come next time, but I need petrol now, I need fuel now. So what is the way we can define the reorder point? Normal consumption during the lead time plus safety stock. So if suppose my lead time for getting the raw material is 4 weeks, and my demand for each week is 100 units, and I decided like I will keep the safety stock 50 units. So my reorder point will be 400 plus 50. 450 is my reorder point. There's another one system called periodic review system. In this system, like the period of reviewing the inventory and placing the order is fixed, but quantity can vary. Okay, and generally we are using it for perishable products or the products with the shorter life, or maybe like in case there are many different items we can order from the same source or to the same source. I take very simple example like in uh, medical stores, chemist shop. When you go there and just see the ordering system, the chemist is following. What he is doing, like any product which is shortage, coming to the level of shortage, he will just put it on the paper, and every day one salesperson will come and he will take the order from the person. So important thing is in this case is the ordering cost is very low, and he can get various products from the same supplier. So easily, like one particular carton can be prepared, and then you can get the complete order. So here formula is very simple. Order quantity is equal to demand during the review period plus demand during the lead time plus safety stock, and from this you can remove the on-hand inventory. That quantity is order quantity you have to place. Another one system which is very commonly used and very powerful tool is there. It's called material requirement planning. This system is like very useful for raw material and components, and generally for theoretical purpose, this system is shown the way it is shown in this slide. So we can see like if suppose I'm talking about the item X, what is the lead time? So 1 period, 2 period, whatever may be. The gross requirement will come. What is the schedule receipt? Schedule receipt is like already I have placed the order. There's an open order, and we have not received the material, but we are supposed to get the material in future. So that we'll put it under the schedule receipt. Then on-hand inventory, then net requirement, plan order release, and plan order delivery. Plan order release is like when we will release the order, and plan order delivery is against that when we will receive the order. Then also like we can use for B and C class items, one system is like a visual review system. In like olden days, what people they are doing, they were used to do like they were keeping the in 4 walls. They were keeping the inventory just closer to this walls, and then they were making like minimum or maximum tags. So this min-max tags are very commonly used, particularly for B and C class items. This system is nowadays like very few companies are using, because a lot of computer-based systems are there. This system was very good system was before the computer system was there. Then Kanban is another one system. Kanban signals are there. We can use Kanban as a signal, Kanban as a like container, Kanban as a like empty space also. When you are using the Kanban, the upstream station does not start production parts until it receives the signal from the downstream. So one thing is like there is no inventory built up in the system, and total inventory in the system is directly proportional to the number of Kanbans in the system. Generally, in most of the companies, what they are doing, the container they are keeping as a Kanban, the container size is defining their order quantity. So the number of Kanbans they are keeping is equivalent to the inventory in the system. Then this Kanban system is very much useful in, they used very much like in just-in-time type of scenario, and now they are also using for lean concept. Okay, and because of Kanban, like one is there is a lot of improvement in the flow of material, and because of that, like there is an increased throughput time and elimination of the waste. Kanban is generally people they can use in the scenario where like there is the continuous flow of the material, and you can predict the flow of material. It is not useful for like dynamic situation where like you are getting sudden orders. Then Kanban cannot be used. Okay, so that is like about the time. Another way is like we can talk about the how much to order at one time. If suppose I will order more, then unnecessarily I will carry the inventory. If I will order less, then there is the possibility of a stock out. So very important thing is like I have to define my ordering system. So like one is the economic order quantity system, then fixed order quantity, lot for lot system, order end period of supply system. So various systems are there. Fixed order quantity is good for B class items, generally like for B class items and for the items which are regularly required. We are using this system because it is very fast and simple. We don't need to do any calculations. Everything is ready with us, and then we can use this system. But a lot of inventory buildup is there because order quantity is fixed, but consumption varies as per month to month. So inventory gets built up in the system. Another one is like lot for lot or as required. Mainly they are using this technique for dependent items. Like if suppose my very simple example is like if I want to make 100 cars, I need minimum 500 tires. Now, I don't want to purchase more than 500 tires because my requirement is only 500. Okay. So, when I can calculate the demand, I can use lot for lot system. And generally people they are using it for A-class items because like if suppose I am not using this lot for lot, I can use the fixed order quantity for A-class item. Then there is the inventory built up, and for okay, and when you are purchasing A-class items in fixed order quantity, unless you are investing a lot of money in the inventory. To avoid that scenario, you can use lot for A-class items. Or otherwise, like if we are working in just in time or lean environment, then we can use the lot for lot. Then another one system is like order and period of supply. So like the example, like very simple example is the stationery we are purchasing for computer. So if suppose I am aware like I need 4 bundles of stationery every month. So maybe for 3 months I will do the calculation, and my calculation said 12 bundles I required. So I will purchase 12 bundles, consume it in 3 months, and there is no unused inventory lying with me. Okay. Generally, like this technique we are using for C-class items. Maybe like dependent demand items or independent demand items. In both the case, we can use this technique. And economic order quantity is like a very good technique We can use this economic order quantity technique for calculation of the order quantity, and then on the basis of that, we can say like a basic calculation can be on the basis of economic order quantity, and then we can decide whether we can use the economic this quantity or not. Take example, we can calculate the basis of EOQ, and my calculation is like 550 units. Now, it is not necessary we can purchase 550 units only, but yes, on the basis of 550, then I will see what is the right quantity we can purchase. If suppose I am purchasing 600 quantity, and it is giving some discount to me, then I will go for 600 quantity instead of 550. Few assumptions are there which are very important for economic order quantity. One is demand is comparatively stable and known. Second, items are produced and purchased in lots or batches. Third is like ordering and carrying costs are stable and known. Generally, in most of the companies, people are not aware about the ordering and carrying costs. Okay, and replenishment locker all at one time. So these four assumptions are there. If we can fulfill these four assumptions, then we can go for the economic order quantity. So in our economic order quantity, our ordering costs and inventory costs are same or almost same. And if you want to calculate the economic order quantity, formula is very simple. It is the under root of twice annual demand multiplied by the cost of orders and divided by the carrying cost and unit cost. Okay. Another very good factor which is playing very important role in inventory is like the safety stock. If we will keep a lot of safety stock in our system, unnecessarily we will carry a lot of inventory. In most of the many companies, I found like people they are keeping all their inventory under the head of safety stock. Please understand, like safety stock is just to handle uncertainty in demand or supply. Okay, and in any organization, uncertainty is not more than 20%. So maximum you should keep the safety stock equivalent to 10 to 20%. Now safety stock, how much safety stock we want to keep? It depends on like how much is my lead time. If longer the lead time, more safety stock I have to keep. If shorter the lead time, I will keep less safety stock. How frequently we will place the order? If we are placing the order more frequently, we will keep less safety stock. If we will order less frequently, then we will keep the more safety stock. Okay. Then it also depends on the service level. If suppose my customer service level, I want to be like more than 95%, then I will keep a lot of safety stock. If I will say like my customer service level is 99%, my safety stock will be still increase. So basically like safety stock you can calculate by standard deviations multiplied by safety factors for the required service level. Service level, we can say like there is a table on net which will talk about the safety factor for the service level. You can find out from that what is the safety factor, multiply it by standard deviation, and you can find out your safety stock. This was a very important concept is like inventory audit. One is like a periodic inventory audit, and second is the cycle counting. Periodic inventory counting is like once a year we are doing for particularly for financial purpose. It is the initiative by mainly by finance department, and if there is any deviation from the system-based inventory, we are not going to correct it. While cycle counting is operational inventory count, if there is any deviation, we are taking the action immediately. Example of cycle counting is like if we can do the ABC classification, and then we can see like A class inventory, we will count how many times in a month. B class inventory, I can count how many times in a month. C class inventory, how many times in a month. And then depending on that, I can multiply it. Say suppose in my case, total I have to do the counting of 4100 counts, and working days are 250 days with me. So my per day count is 16 to 17 counts. 16 to 17 items I will count per day. If my one counter can count 6 to 7 items, so I need only 3 counters who can continuously doing the counting per system. We can classify the inventory in 2 different ways. One is like indirect purchase and direct purchase. Indirect purchase are items used internally by some process, and direct purchase used for production or service and sold to the external customers. And ABC classifications are very commonly used on the basis of Pareto analysis, 80-20 rules. A lot of inventory control techniques are there which we can use. We can use the ABC analysis on the basis of annual consumption, XYZ analysis based on value of inventory actually held in stores, BD analysis, FSN analysis. So a lot of these inventory control techniques are there which we can use, and then accordingly we can control our inventory. Okay. Generally, like when we are talking about the inventory valuation, there are like different methods are there. First in, first out, last in, first out, average cost, standard cost, activity based cost. So, like first 2 methods are like on the basis of like which material we are receiving. We are doing the valuation. Average costing is like instead of like we have received the material 2-3 lots, we take the average cost, and this average cost is we are using for the valuation purpose. Standard cost, like we are doing like we are keeping some standard cost for the product, and while making the product, the cost will vary, but we will keep the standard costing method, and whatever the difference is there, we can absorb the cost. Activity based costing is like in step by step, whatever activity we are doing, in all the activities we are just accumulating the cost, and then we are doing the costing of the inventory. Okay. How you can check the inventory health of your organization? There are 2-3 different methods are there. One is the inventory turnover method, which is very commonly used in organizations. So inventory turnover is nothing but it is like annual cost of goods sold divided by the average inventory in dollars. See, suppose I am, what is the way we can define it? What is the average amount I have invested in my business? How much time I am rotating in my annual sale? Then inventory days of supply is like another way where like we can talk about inventory on hand divided by average daily uses. So this is the way like we can define another. And third is like cash to cash cycle, where we can talk about the account receivable minus account payable in days, and then we can add the days of inventory outstanding. Please remember, like cash to inventory turns. If your inventory turns are more, your financial health is good. If your cash to cash cycle is negative, your financial health is good. Okay. Why there is a problem in inventory accuracy? Why people they are finding like inventory is not matching with their system inventory? One reason is like the form which is designed is very complicated design is there, or lack of proper process and procedure is there, lack of care, supplier packaging slips accuracy. If it is not accurate, then there is a problem. Insufficient storage space. Because of that, like you are putting the inventory in different places, and then it is possibility of inaccuracy is increasing. Inexperienced employees are there, poor document controls are there, items not correctly recognized, lack of discipline and responsibility, and very important, lack of training. So, if you want to make sure in your system inventory should be accurate, then you have to follow these steps. Because of the inaccurate inventory records, these are the issues we are getting, like we can lose the sales, excess production can be there, low productivity, excessive expediting, high inventory levels, shortages. All these issues are very common. In our warehouse, in warehousing, like if we want to manage the inventory, so there's like two different locations are there. One is fixed location, another is the random location. So in the warehousing system, like if I'm doing the inventory management through fixed system, generally we are using it for fast moving items, or like if suppose physical characteristic of the item is like, for example, very hazardous material, there is a fixed location for that. You cannot keep the hazardous material in any location. And poor optimization of storage space is very common problem, because the material is the space is recognized fixed for the material. If material is not there, you cannot use the space for other material. Another way, like we can define the random location. Yes, you can use the space more better way, but issue is like in random, like if suppose you can use it, you cannot use for fast moving items. It may be like whenever there is a requirement of bulk requirement, you can use random locations, or you can use the random location when you are using the robotic system in your warehouse. Warehouse management system is nowadays very common in most of the companies. It takes care of the inventory management systems in warehouse. In warehouse, when you want to track the inventory or manage the inventory, you need to use some IT tools. One of the very common use is RFID, and other is the barcode. These two tools are very important. They can be like very helpful for the industry. Okay. Security of inventory is very important. You can secure yourself by ensuring the items are not lost, not stolen, not misplaced, not damaged. Okay. So you can establish the process for placing new items in inventory, receiving goods, requesting materials, picking and releasing materials, and returning materials also. And mostly like people, they are using the barcode and RFID tags. Okay. And you can also make the inventory aging reports. So you can use the SKU, item code, item descriptions, date, receive it, allocated cost, age of inventory, and from where you have received the inventory. And there should be a clear-cut policy and procedure for inventory management. policy for safety, recycling, standardization, security, access. So all this if you have the clear-cut policy in your organization, then you can have the better inventory management of the system. Okay. So actually, this 1 hour is very less for covering the inventory part, but I try to cover most of the things. I think only on the superficial level. Any question? Or before that,